Abel, so you're back at it March 18th. You got your big horse in the ring. Does this validate Triple G's career in the boxing public eye?
You know, just like I said, young man, before you, what do you think? I would like to think that after the fight you will say that it did, because I think that this is the horse that should tell us something about Golovkin. But if he destroys him the same way he's been destroying everybody else, will I get the same kind of feedback again? Well, you know, Perron knocked him out and he did, you know, he didn't have this. This is a good fighter. This is a good fighter that knocked out impressively the guy that was telling us, the people were saying was going to be the guy that knocked out Golovkin, which was Peter Quillen. So I think that we have a great fight on our hands. I think that we have a great challenge. I don't think that he'll last the length of the fight, but I think that we have a great challenge.
Now they're building a super team over there with trainers, Virgil, Hunter, and Rozier. Can you speak to that, and are you doing anything different for this camp?
Absolutely not. I won't do anything different. I think that Andre is a very smart coach. Virgil, I have a ton of respect for Virgil's coaching abilities. If they feel that they can work together and create something that is better than what they have, then I think that's a great thing for Danny. But it's between Andre and Virgil being able to work together. I had a young man fight named Shafikov fought last year against Herring, and from what I understand and what I saw in clips, Mike Stafford, who's a great coach, Broner's coach, and Barry Hunter, who's Peterson's coach, were arguing in the corner about when to stop the fight. I think that when great minds like that get together, we all have our ideas. But if Virgil and Andre can work together, I think it benefits Danny Jacobs.
Now, Abel, Gennady's fight with Kell Brook was the most difficult fight for Gennady in a long time. You know, why do you think, you know, even though he got the 5th round knockout, why do you think there was such a difficulty for him?
Because he made it difficult. Since the Lemieux fight, when we saw the Lemieux fight and we saw him display the great jab and outside work, the fights after that have been to the point where he's lost interest. He's lost interest not in the gym, not in the training, because the fight was obvious that they trained for him, but in the actual guy in front of him. Sometimes we have no choice and no say in who we face because of mandatories, which was Wade and Monroe. Monroe in the 4th round, I believe, Gennady's egging him on. Come on, Willie, because he wanted it to be a fight where he could display his talents, but Willie wasn't willing to. Wade obviously was too easy. Brook fight, when he hurt him in the 1st round, was another one of those, like, oh shit, here we go again. So he made it a stupid fight to try and to please the fans, but I want to say that in his mind, maybe he was thinking he can entice some other guy to sign on the dotted line because they see his deficiencies, but Danny Jacobs was the only one that took the challenge.
Now clearly, with Jacobs, it looks like you're going to probably pursue the route you did against Lemieux, where you're a little bit more, I don't want to say cautious, but a little bit more precise.
No, I don't think so. I think that with Danny Jacobs has got a heck of a lot more ability, more intelligence in the ring, more boxing intelligence in the ring, better tools than Lemieux. Lemieux had heavy hands, but really didn't know how to use them. His IQ was limited. So it was easy just to keep him on the outside and just bop, just hit him whenever he wanted to hit him. With Danny, I believe that Danny will think that he can get on the inside and fight. And I think what we'll see is the kind of fight like we used to see. 2 guys on the inside trying to outdo each other with some skill and some thought. And will be reminiscent of Hagler or Benitez, all those guys that fought actually on the inside, didn't hold. So if that's the case, then I think Danny and Golovkin will be one of the fights of the year until it ends.
Abel, talk to us.
Was it $10 or $15 million that Golden Boy offered?
I have no idea.
And is that fight going to happen? Where are we at in your head?
I sure hope so. Right now my head's in Danny Jacobs.
Obviously.
Yeah, but I sure hope so because it's the best fight that can happen for boxing. The styles are going to mesh well. We won't have a wrestling match. We won't have a grappling match. We'll have a fight where 2 guys are going to hit each other. But the business of boxing, unfortunately, gets in the way, and it may not happen because of that. But I think it's a kind of fight that can go 2 or 3 times. I mean, to me, it's that competitive.
Is Oscar holding him back? Is Oscar holding Canelo back in your eyes?
No, Oscar's being a businessman. I'm not holding him back. Canelo's as good as he's going to be. Now he just needs to fight. He's as good as he's going to be for you guys. Now for himself and for his legacy, he needs to fight the fights that are going to make him bigger. Not a better fighter, but just a bigger name. But Oscar's doing what promoters do, what a businessman does. He's going to take the fights or do the fights that are best in their best interest, and when he feels that it's in their best interest to face Golovkin, then they'll face him.
Hey, does it upset?
Golovkin's a big fight, but if you're aware, there's talks of a potential catchweight between Chavez Jr. and Canelo. Why was he able to not go up to 160 for Golovkin and move up to 165 for Chavez Jr. and he asked Golovkin to move down to 155? What's your take on the whole situation?
You know, I think this is a little hypocritical, but I'll give it to you this way. I said that we would move up to 168 with Golovkin to fight the right fight, but we always said that he was a middleweight and we would move up to 68. With Canelo, he says he's not a middleweight, yet he was the middleweight champion, defended the middleweight title, and he would want Golovkin to come to 55. Now he's a middleweight. Now he's fighting at 65, where he wants to fight at 65. I think it's unfortunate for Chavez that he's in a position that he has to take a fight like that, because he's dwindled his career. He's really not done the right things, and at 65, I think Chavez will be weaker. Canelo will be stronger. Canelo will be faster. So I think Canelo beats him in a decision, but it's because it's Chavez's fault that he gets beat. It's Chavez's fault because he has let his career be up at 175, 174, and now he's killing himself to get a money fight.
You know, talk to us about the frustrations of not getting a big fight. Can you just talk to us about the frustrations of not getting a big fight? Because there was talks with Canelo Alvarez, there was talks with Chavez Jr., Carl Froch. Is Daniel Jacobs a big enough fight?
The frustration was that guys were just talking. You know, that's the biggest frustration. Golovkin in the Monroe fight and the Wade fight and the Brook fight looked like he wasn't interested. So Jacobs being the perceived threat by everybody, the perceived threat that he is legitimate according to the experts, gives Golovkin that, I'm not going to say fear, but gives him that edge to want to do the best that he can in the fight and to look destructive.
Andre Ward was also a perceived threat at 168. Are you aware of his retirement talks and what he take to him?
That's exactly what I was just telling the fellow before you. Andre Ward, unfortunately, he's not an honorable man. And the reason I say that is because he had a rematch clause with Kovalev, and he's not honoring that.
Yeah.
Okay. Way before the fight, all those details were ironed out. There's no reason to talk about anything but a date. That Andre Ward wants to retire is just a way of running past the date of the rematch clause, which is, like I said, it's not honorable. That's not a man with any kind of honor.
You've spoken highly of Daniel Jacobs' ability as a fighter. Do you feel that he has enough to go 12 rounds and to give Gennady Golovkin a real fight?
Nobody goes 12 rounds with Golovkin from 154 to 168. And eventually he will catch up with him. But in Golovkin's mind, just like in the Murray fight, he wants to know if he can go 12 rounds. So hopefully Jacobs presents that kind of challenge that if it does go 12 rounds and we win the fight, well, at least now we know we can. If he moves 168, 175, those guys are going to be bigger. They're going to take the shots better. They're not going to be able to be knocked out as easily as the smaller guys. So Golovkin has to move his power up. If it doesn't come up with him, then he's going to have to go 12 rounds. So in his mind, he's preparing himself for that eventual. You know, he's 35 years old. By the time that happens, maybe he's 38 years old. He wants to know. I mean, I want to know too.
Hey, but would you guys be open to the winner of James DeGale, Badou Jack? Golovkin has fought in the UK. He did great. He sold great in tickets, and DeGale, obviously, he's being a UK native, it will be real big. What do you take to a matchup between Jack or DeGale?
What we have said is we will move up for the right fight. If Eddie and Tom seem to work together real well, Frank and Tom seem to work together very well, that's a fight that probably could be made. It's a fight that would be huge over there. Absolutely. It's a matter of just the minds coming together. Unlike, like I just said about Kovalev and Kathy and Rock Nation, just they're so far apart after that fight that it's not good for us. It's not good for boxing. It's not good for us having these kind of press conferences and having these kind of events, man.
What is your take on that matchup? The jacket, the
Speaking
girl.
about fights that don't really make sense, what do you think about Pacquiao and Horn? They just signed the dotted line. They're ready to go. They have no location set yet, but it seems like everything's in place. What do you think about that fight?
Pacquiao had the Vargas fight where he won the title. He had a couple fights before that where he looked good. Why not give him a little carrot? I mean, why not? Come on. I think he deserves it. I think he's done enough in the sport and done enough for us as fans to deserve a carrot. I mean, he can't just keep fighting the Vargases and the tough guys fight after fight.
What if he deserves that tune-up, so to speak? Why doesn't he deserve the $20 million that he quote-unquote demanded for Terence Crawford? Is he worth that?
I think he deserves $40 million. I think he deserves whatever the hell he thinks he deserves.
Why
He's
did
the one. We're not gonna be out a dime if he doesn't get the fight. He's the one that's gonna be out the money, not us.
my last question, why do fight fans continue to criticize Gennady's resume, saying that he hasn't fought top-tier middleweights? If he gets the win over Daniel Jacobs, will that change their perspective?
I don't know how many all of you have watched boxing and how many years you go back and how you've studied boxing. Has there been anybody in any division dominated a division like Golovkin is dominating? He has nobody. He's dominating the middleweight division like nobody else in history in any division. You can't think of one. You can't tell me one. Yes, they've won. Bernard Hopkins had 20 defenses, but he had fights that they shouldn't have won. Golovkin is knocking people out. Now, you're going to say, yeah, but he's got a weak middleweight division. You mean in the history of boxing, there's been only one division that's been weak, and that's this middleweight division. It's untrue, man.
Now, let me ask you this. Now, you called Andre Ward not honorable. But if you look at, I'm just being devil's advocate, if you look at Gennady's opponents, Dominic Wade, Willie Monroe, and then you steal a fight with Kell Brooks and have him come up 16 pounds, whatever the
No, we didn't ask him to come up. He took.
No, I'm saying you took the fight though.
Yeah.
So would that be considered stealing money?
Let me say this. You see how many people were here, and you see how many people were in New York. They're having Golovkin withdrawals.
No, we get that.
Wait. So December the 10th, it took so long to negotiate that fight that they couldn't make the fight. All right. So now we get into the Kell Brook, and they don't make the Kell Brook fight, then we don't fight that fight either. So now it's 6, 7, 8, 10 months between fights. Everybody wants to see Golovkin, not because Golovkin, it's the drama, it's the show that he puts on. Okay, so that Kell Brook decided to move. If Kell Brook doesn't accept the fight, we're willing to wait another 6 months for a Golovkin fight.
No, what I'm asking you is it dishonorable to fight opponents you know you're going to knock out in 2 months?
No, it's not dishonorable. It's not dishonorable because we didn't force him into the ring. Andre signed a contract saying he was going to have a rematch clause. Did you hear Tom Loeffler say there's no rematch clause in this fight? Okay, that's honor. You know, we're going to fight the best against the best, and whoever wins, and if it's going to be made again, it's going to be made again. But if you sign an agreement and you negotiate the terms, I think you should live up to them.
Abel, having been in the ring with Kell Brook, and if you're aware, there's rumors that he's in negotiations with Amir Khan. From what you've seen Kell Brook do and Amir Khan with Canelo, how would he fare against Amir Khan?
I think Amir gives him trouble at the beginning with his hand speed, but I think Kell Brook is too much of a fighter for him.
Okay, I got one more question. I read the article by Dan Raphael yesterday. He says the 2 top pound-for-pound guys in the world are on this card. Is it an injustice to not call Andre Ward pound-for-pound best?
He's not pound-for-pound best. He's in the top 5. He's in the top 5, maybe number 3. Why? Because we as fans are going to judge our fighters by their actions, by what we want to see. No. It doesn't matter weight classes. It doesn't matter weight classes. Look, Floyd Mayweather was pound for pound when he was a lightweight, beating the guys that he beat. He was very offensive. That he moved up and became defensive, that's a different story. But Andre Ward doesn't do the things that we as fight fans are going to rank as greatness. No, at least in my opinion.
Kovalev is a great feat now.
You mean beating Pascal twice, an old man Pascal, and beating a 51-year-old Hopkins? That's who he beat.
But Kovalev has a similar record to you. Knockouts with Triple G, knockouts with Kovalev. Similar pass, similar route.
True. You're asking me about Andre Ward. You didn't ask me about Kovalev. I would rank Kovalev above Andre Ward in that top.
Even though he lost to him?
Even though he didn't lose to him.
He did lose.
No, he didn't lose to him. The judges gave it to him. He didn't lose to him.
Okay.
And the reason I say you poll everybody in this room, and you're going to have Kovalev
Only
winning
three
the
guys
fight.
count.
No.
Only three guys count.
I know. Well, the three blind mice.
We're good, guys. Thanks.
Yeah.
Thank you.